Hey guys, so this video is going to go into a little bit more detail on stroke rate on rowing and the ins and outs and how you can integrate this into a class. So let's go through some what we would call some real basics that you can kind of hang your hat on. So we're going to define three different areas of stroke rate. We've got low rate, we've got medium rate, and then we've got high rate. Now, traditionally, let's give you a bit of an overview on stroke rate. If you're in a CrossFit workout and a CrossFit class, so we're doing the workout Jackie, and most rowing workouts that we have within the CrossFit time domains, you're probably going to be looking at that medium to high rate. Now, where does low rate come into this? Now, low rate's a great skill developer. It's also an ability to refine your stroke rate in its singular. And also, it's a great way to generate lots more volume on the rower, okay? So let's define it in a bit more detail. So low rate rowing is what we would consider anything under or less than 24 strokes per minute. So that means the amount of strokes you're taking per minute is less than 24. Medium rate is that middle ground between 24 and 28 strokes per minute. So that means that every minute you're taking between 24 strokes and 28 strokes per minute. And then finally, high rate rowing, we're looking at anything over 28 strokes per minute. Now this can differ individual to individual. The taller you are, the longer the rowing stroke, naturally the lower your rates will sit. The shorter you are, the shorter your stroke, the faster potentially your numbers will sit. So like I've already mentioned, traditionally most CrossFit workouts will be sitting in that high rate variation where it's shorter, sharper, and we're looking at getting it through, and these lower rates where we want to practice the skill element of rowing. So within that, let's look at a few key areas to focus on when you're focusing on rate rowing. The recovery. So I've finished my rowing stroke. Everything on the way back to the front is based on recovery. If we learn to get that correct and that sequencing correct, we're going to be onto a winner. Now we need to take our time on this. When you get people jumping on your machine and having a bit of a practice, you'll notice very, very quickly that their recovery will be fast, it may be inefficient. So the first thing to focus on is hands, then shoulders, then legs. Okay, nice and slow. Now, that's our main focus. Moving forward, what I would suggest that you also have as a thought in your head is to only focus on one element at a time. And that first element in stroke rate rowing, funnily enough, is the stroke rate. So making sure that we're just trying to hit the number or the stroke rate caveat that we're after. What we don't want to do is confuse the situation with stroke rate and split. So split is our time per 500 meters if we're on the machine, on the rower, if we're on the bike, it's time per 1,000. So the reason we don't want to do that is there's two variables to be counteracting with. When you first teach someone to row at a low rate, what will normally happen is they won't put any power into their rowing stroke. So they'll be tentative in and they won't put any power coming back out. As soon as you ask them to add some power or to focus on a split, they'll speed up their rowing rather than increase the power of their stroke. So just to recap, focus on one element on that stroke rate rowing. Now, we've got some examples, and we've got two examples here of how to integrate stroke rate rowing to teach someone how to do it. Now, the first one is a beginner option, and you can include these in warm-ups quite often. Every time you have some rowing, you can possibly put this in, where we're going to work in 30-second increments. And for the first 30 seconds, we're going to focus on just rowing at rate 20 to 24. There's no other focus on how fast the machine's going, how loud it is. We're just trying to row at that correct rate. If you even want to, you can cover up all of the other boxes on the rowing monitor and just focus on that rate. After that 30 seconds, you're going to increase the rate of your stroke to 24 to 28 strokes per minute for another 30 seconds. Best tip I can give on that is just let your hands come away from your body a little bit faster. So if we're coming away slowly and we're between 20 to 24, to go a little bit faster, we let those hands come away a little bit quicker. It decreases our recovery time, but increases our stroke rate. And then finally, the last 30-second interval is going to be 28 plus. Same principle applies. Let the hands go away a little bit quicker. That'll naturally increase your stroke rate. Once you've done that, you can hit 3 to 5 rounds, and that's a great way to introduce a beginner into some stroke rate rowing. Now, to give you more of a challenge for your potentially more advanced members on the machine, or if you want to give someone the next step, is you can apply those same 30-second efforts, but this time you can be a little bit more specific. So for the first 30 seconds, you can row at 20 strokes per minute. So we're only focusing on 20 strokes, not between 20 to 24, but just 20 strokes per minute. And then we can add another caveat into there. We can add a split. Now that split we're going to choose today is going to be 2 minutes per 500. So we're rowing for 30 seconds, rate 20 at 2 minutes per 500 meter split. Now after that 30 seconds, you're going to increase your stroke rate, so the speed at which you do your strokes, by 2 per minute. So we're going to go to rate 22. Now when you do this, you need to take the split with you. So we're going to increase our split by 2. So rather than 2 minute split, we're going to go to 158 because we've increased our stroke rate by 2 splits. All right. So rate 22, 158. And then we can continue that process through a ladder to then rate 24, 156. And then we can increase it again to rate 26. And then we've got 154. And that will gradually increase the intensity. And again, you can do 3 to 5 rounds. And that's what we would consider quite an advanced warm-up or session in itself to practice some stroke rate. So just to recap, stroke rate can be defined in 3 different areas. We have low rate, medium rate, and then high rate. And then within those, low rate would be anything under 24 strokes per minute, medium rate, anything between 24 and 28, and then that high rate is 28 plus. Knowing when to use it, it's going to be great. Skill development, stay nice and low. It's a bit like moving slowly on an air squat, and then save those high rates for when you're working really hard in your workout. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy.